Stray Kids in Washington, D.C. is probably my worst K-pop concert experience I've ever had in my entire life. And it's nothing to do with Stray Kids. Stray Kids in Washington was awful. No. Don't get me wrong, you guys. It was fine. It was just also the worst concert I've ever been to. And listen. The thing about it is, the concert was amazing. The actual, show, amazing. They put on a great performance. Not to mention the band, the dancers. They had a whole, group of dancers, which I was not anticipating. And it was so cool. But also, Stray Kids in Washington, D.C. is probably my worst K-pop concert experience I've ever had in my entire life. And it's nothing to do with Stray Kids.
Hey everybody, it is Editing Zaki here. So there is a lot of information that I got after recording this and after editing this, which is why there's a couple of messages periodically here and there with me popping in. As of finishing editing this, there have been 6 people that were hospitalized due to heat-related illnesses. And I just want to let you guys know that this is why it is so important that the concert was cut off. I know that we all hope to see them as long as possible, but people were getting sick. It can be very fatal to have any sort of heat-related illness, and we don't want someone to lose their life at a Stray Kids concert, anywhere, but you know what I mean? The boys definitely wanted everyone to be healthy and safe and go home the way that they came in. And that is why the concert shut down early, and that is why everyone was being evacuated. Now, you guys can go ahead and listen to the podcast episode as per normal. I didn't know that information when I was recording this. I was only under the assumption that people had been passing out and were dizzy and needed water. I did not realize that the people who were taken out were also hospitalized. So I do still think that it was a good night. I do think that Stray Kids handled the situation as best as they could. It was just a really poor management on the stadium side with their staff and how they handled the heat and the water situation and everything going on with that. I hope that all of the stays that were hospitalized are going to be okay. I hope you're doing better if you do see this. And yeah.
It's nothing to do with Stray Kids at all. So today I decided to do a Q review on the Stray Kids Washington, D.C. concert for everyone that might have had questions. I've seen a lot of people on multiple platforms talking about it, and I've also seen some things that, in my opinion, I think are not true as someone who was there. But I know how fast information can fly and how fast stays are very quick to defend other stays and to defend Stray Kids, because unfortunately, seeing that this happened at a Stray Kids concert, it is going to reflect on Stray Kids whether we like it or not. But I do want to preface this video by saying this video was not made at all to dig at Stray Kids. Stray Kids actually gained so much extra respect. I have so much respect for them already, but they gained so much more respect for me after seeing how they handled this situation. So I just want to let y'all know that right now. Sorry, putting this up. I want to let y'all know that right now. I'm making it abundantly clear. Nothing that I'm talking about in this video was Stray Kids' fault. They did everything they possibly could to help us in the situation. And also, it was not their job to even try to fix what was happening. And they still tried to fix it. So, immense props to all of the Stray Kids members and all of their staff that was helping out, because I did see that as well. The arena staff versus Stray Kids staff, they were wearing different outfits. So immense props to everyone with Stray Kids and their team. They were literally the angels of our night. But we do have to talk about the nitty gritty. So I did make myself a list because, you guys, I have really bad ADHD and I will go on 5,000 tangents, and usually Q reviews are about an hour long. I don't know if this is going to take that long, but there is a lot of information to cover, and I did want to put a little PSA for the rest of the stops. Also, just another PSA. If you are going to the London spot, I do have a friend that is trying to make sure that this does not happen again for their stop. So Mayday Mabe, go check them out. They are organizing to have some like, you know, like drinks, snacks, like that type of thing. And they're talking with people that are also doing the same thing. I've also seen on Twitter, there's a lot of people that have like been organizing, like having electrolytes and snacks and stuff like that at other stops. So whatever stop you are going to, I would highly suggest checking online to see those people, like what they're wearing. Some people are telling you what they're going to be wearing, and like definitely take advantage of it. And also every stop is going to be different. My stop specifically, the main issue was that we didn't have the resources, but we also weren't allowed to bring resources in. So that's the issue. Like there's certain other stadiums or whatever you want to say that let you bring stuff in, which probably would have helped immensely, right? But before I go on that tangent, for anyone that could potentially be going into this completely blind and you're using me as your main source of information, I'm going to tell you what concert I was at, where I was at in DC, but also exactly where I was at in the actual stadium, because where you were in the stadium dictates what you saw. Because from where I was sitting, I could see basically everything except for the higher level seats. Like once you started getting into the 200 area, I couldn't see anything that was happening up there. I'm sure stuff was happening up there as well because stuff was happening everywhere, but I could see the field and the pit and the stage very well, and I could see the 100 section very well, right? So the Stray Kids concert in DC was in Nationals Park. It's with Live Nation, which they're currently getting ripped to shreds. So good luck to them, maybe. And I was sitting in section 114E, seat 11. Okay, I'm real specific with y'all. I have a little map. I'll see this, like if I can put a little map up here of exactly where I was, as well as showing you guys the view. If you are watching this as a podcast, I am basically on the field, but I'm in the seats that are behind the field. So I can see the field perfectly. They had the field where there were chairs set up for the field seats, and then they have the pit, which you guys know the pit does not have seats. You're in a pit, you're standing. And then the stage is of course right in front of that. So I would say I'm not really good at guesstimating, but maybe like 30 to 40 feet away. I don't know. Something like that. I was very close to the pit, but I purposely don't ever get tickets where I can't have a seat. And the reason being is I have a chronic illness. We don't want to mess with that over here, okay? I went into this tour and I had already known we're going to be outside. It's going to be hot regardless, but also America is going through a heat wave right now. We are going through a heat wave. It is hot everywhere. Even in places in America that typically don't get hot, it is hot everywhere, okay? Yesterday, as I'm recording this, the concert was yesterday. Yesterday, the high was 103. We got to 103 outside in that heat, and the lowest that it was while I was presently at the concert was 91 degrees. And that was even like, we left the concert around 10-ish. It was like maybe 10 to 10:20 that we started leaving the concert. And it was still in the 90s, okay? It was hot. It was extremely hot. So my personal prep plan as a little chronic illness girly was I was using my BioFreeze for my shoulders and my neck so that hopefully that wouldn't bother me as much. I took my headache medication, and the entire drive there, we're about 4 hours from DC, the entire drive there, I was drinking water as much as possible. I didn't want to like have us have to pull over a whole bunch of times, but I was drinking water, I was drinking coffee because the caffeine helps me as well, and like I was just good. The thing about stadium tours is I don't typically get like dizzy and need water. I typically get dizzy and I need sugar, right? So that's gonna come into play later. But that's where we were. And I am going to run it back. So before we get into my experience, I'm going to talk about other people's experience around me that I saw happening, right? So there is a sound check, and I'm not sure exactly what times the sound check happens, but the gates open at 5:30, and sound check is typically before the general gate opens. Like if I'm able to get into the arena, sound check should have already happened. So I'm assuming sound check is maybe around 3 or 4 o'clock. Either way, a lot of times with these types of concerts, people are lined up hours before that to try to get as close as possible for pit. Like it's randomized for this concert, and I'm pretty sure almost all of the stops, I'm pretty sure is randomized, but people will still queue up as fast as they can, right? So I'm assuming those people that had sound check, who had VIP, were there for hours before that, right? And there were multiple people that had VIP tickets that weren't allowed into sound check just because it was like overcrowded.
Hey guys, editing Zachy here. So sorry if this sounds weird, but literally while I was editing this podcast episode, I found out that one of my other friends actually got a different excuse. She was told that they took too long to check in, and so they stopped allowing VIPs in, which is even a worse excuse than that it was overcrowded. So yeah, people were getting told different things, but what?
Like they all had the same ticket, but they weren't letting them in, and that was the excuse that I heard someone say was the reason they didn't let them in. Now there might be some other people that like got a different excuse, but to me it's an excuse because regardless, you picked how many VIP tickets for the spot you were gonna have. You knew how many people can fit in this area, so logistically that's on you, right? And the VIP tickets are so much more expensive than literally any other seat in the arena. So yeah, I'd be freaking pissed. But then also on top of that, there's field seats. And in order to get into the field and pit area, you have to have a wristband, right? It was like a blue one or an orange one. And there were multiple people in front of us because, like I said, I'm at the field entrance. I'm sitting at the field entrance. I'm just not in the field, right? There's multiple people throughout the night that are trying to get into the field entrance, and they're not able to because the people upstairs that are supposed to give you your wristband apparently ran out of wristbands. So there's these people that like they got told, oh, you could just go ahead and go down, and they had to wait for the person upstairs to get more wristbands so that they could get into the field area, which doesn't make sense to me either because your ticket says where you are, and I just was like, I don't get that at all. So that did get resolved. They eventually went into the field, the people that had that issue, but by the time they got into the actual venue, the concert had started. So the concert started at 7:30, but they didn't come out at 7:30. They came out like 7:45-ish. They came out a little late. It's okay though. It's okay. The stuff that I'm going to talk about is my experience with this show, the heat and medical emergencies, the show being canceled, and like my final thoughts wrapping up. I am going to also talk about my experience with Stray Kids specifically separately because like I said, 90% of this video has nothing to do with Stray Kids, unfortunately, even though we're at a Stray Kids concert. Half of the information I'm covering has nothing to do with them, which really sucks. Also, I hope my voice is okay. I was screaming a lot last night. Let me just... Like I said, we live 4 hours from DC, so we're driving. And we had an 8 all day due to traffic and like just trying to get on the road. Because I was paranoid. I had saw what happened in previous stops, and I was like, we need to get there as early as possible. Hotel check-in is at 3 p.m. We need to get there as soon as we can. So I'm pretty sure we got in line a little after 5:30, and we still hadn't eaten. So my mom, who drove with us, walked around because she doesn't have a ticket. It's just me and my friend who have a ticket. She walked around and she found us food, and she brought us food back, and we are eating in line. Now, if you've ever seen this stadium, I was so confused, okay? I thought the building we were standing next to was the building that the stadium was, right? Like, I thought we were at the stadium. What actually happened was the stadium was like right here. Like, pretend if you're watching this, if you're listening to this as a podcast, okay? The stadium was in the left corner of your phone. It was right here. And then we were behind your phone on the right side. So what had happened was the stadium was all the way over there, and we were down this shop strip all the way around, wrapped around a garage, like, and then all the way around the garage and down the street still, like, that's how long the line was. We weren't even near the stadium, and I only found that out when we started walking. Now, granted, a lot of people who had been in line before the doors opened, but still, there was no one telling us where to go, and there was 2 lines. That really threw me for a loop. There was 2 lines, and we were trying to figure out what line was what, and there was people telling us one line is for merch and the other line is for entrance. And honor system, I just believed them. So I got in the other line, and eventually we start moving. We eating our little pizza and drinking our water in line because that was like our only option. And I would say that we stood outside for about an hour because we got in to the actual venue around 6:20. This is not bad. That's not that bad. We had little banners up, so we started taking photos with the banners. And we also like stood in line for an actual like Stray Kids banner, which I kind of damaged mine. It has like I don't know if y'all can hear this, but yeah, so I was sweating so much, and when we were leaving, it was kind of a panic. So my water and my arm had my banner up against my body and rubbed some of the print off, which sucks. But you know, that's the least of my worries. So then, honestly, I would say getting into the venue, taking pictures, and then getting that banner and finding our seats, that was the easiest part of the night. That's where everything went to shit on our end, okay? Like, everything just died after that. So I was already dizzy at that point. And this had been less than an hour of, like, eating and drinking water. And the thing about me is, when I get dizzy, like I said earlier, I don't need water. So my friend went and she got herself a drink and she got me a Coke. That Coke was heaven sent. That Coke is the only reason I did not pass out. It doesn't matter how hydrated you are. Obviously, you need to be hydrated. That was the type of heat that did not care if you were hydrated. You could be hydrated and in 20 minutes be needing some more water or like something going into your system. It was like the type of weather you just constantly need something going in your system. It was hot. It was dry heat, and there were so many people around that was probably making it worse. There was no air. There's no AC in the stadium at all. So you're just sitting there in your own sweat. Just like any water in your body is sweating out of you. So yeah, we love the Coke. We love the Coke because every time I got dizzy, I would be like, sip, sip. A little bit better. Thank you. Thank you. So, like I said, no clue why the concert started a little bit later. I'm assuming it has something to do with all the heat, but the concert starts, it's going normal, and we're like, yeah, because like I said, great performers, love Stray Kids down bad. Then, halfway through, Chan stops the concert to check on us, right? They all come out, and they're kind of like talking to us. And I want to say that all of the information about sound check and stuff, I found out after the concert. I wasn't personally in sound check, but I have seen an immense amount of videos, an immense amount of people talking about sound check. So I kind of have a relative idea about what happened, right? So because of that, I know that Chan knew that this was an issue when he was currently stopping the concert. So during sound check, there were people who were already fainting. There have been multiple videos that I've seen on my feed of people like looking like they're about to faint or like actively passing out, and the staff just standing there with their arms crossed, being useless. I understand if you're not trained medically, but you can call the dang medic, or you can get some water for somebody. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. There's also videos of staff laughing at stays. You rude mother truckers. And y'all might be like, oh, like, maybe that was just a rude, like one rude person. No, there were multiple rude staff members at that concert. There was one member who was selling like alcoholic lemonades, and we were trying to get his attention, talking about some like we want some, and he was ignoring us, and we were like, hi, we're trying to get your attention, and he was like, my attention goes where I want it to go. They're all just rude. I'm sure there's at least one nice person working there, but all the ones I ran into for the most part were dickheads, except for the last guy that I got water from, and the freaking waters were $9. So yeah. But people were overheating, people were passing out, people were needing water. So Chance stopped and made sure that everyone was good. Medics ended up at this point started running around. Now the medics were really easy to see because they're all wearing red shirts. So it was easy to see them kind of differentiate from the other staff, right? We end up taking a break, maybe like 20 minutes or so, and then they come back on stage and we're kind of progressing as normal. So for me, I kind of assumed that whatever was going on finished. Now the issue is, then when they were on the stage, that's when I started seeing people get wheeled out. People were getting wheeled out in wheelchairs. People were getting taken out in stretchers. There were people tossing water all over the place by the pit in the field. Like, full on just holding water in their hands and then just going like, you need some, and tossing it. I don't know who these people were because they're not wearing the little neon staff clothing that the staff were wearing. So these were either random people who were just being nice and being like, do you need water? Or this was like the Stray Kids staff, because they were all kind of wearing dark clothing, and the Stray Kids staff wear like black shirts with a little like, you know, I have no clue. But whoever those people were, thank you. You're highly appreciated. Because I think that's the only free water that I saw being given out, except for when Stray Kids came out and started giving us their water, which is also insane that Stray Kids had to come out on numerous occasions. They did this 3 times. They came out on numerous occasions asking, hey, is everybody good? Is everybody okay? Like, raise your hand if you need help. And then, like, the staff were still ignoring us, even as, like, people are pointing, like, this person needs help, this person needs help. They were still ignoring us to the point where Han had to use the translator to get them to listen and be like, hey, can we have, like, help in the front? Which I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that video by now. It's, like, circulating like crazy. That was the context. They were ignoring them. Like, you know, when a whole group of people is pointing in one direction, they're not trying to get the attention of the freaking artist that's on the stage. They're trying to get help for the person that they're pointing to. And they were ignoring that completely. So, yeah. So after people started getting wheeled out, and after they did their, the like second half of the performance, they go back. And we're kind of sitting in silence again. Now, I think that this is the segment where the boys realistically knew that the concert was going to end, because they did not come back after that. I'm assuming that they went home because they went live extremely close to the time that, like, we got out. We got out, we walked 20 minutes to the hotel. By the time we got up to the hotel, Stray Kids were live, right? So it just feels like they knew, right? We did, after they left the second time, we did get the Stray Kids stay section where, like, they play the music and then they choose a stay to dance along. We did get that, which was really fun. I would say we maybe only missed a couple of songs. We missed the cart where they, like, get in the cart and they ride around. But, like, at most, maybe 4 or 5 songs. We did get a solid, like, 90 minutes worth of them singing. So for everyone saying, hey, the Stray Kids concert got completely canceled, it didn't. It didn't. We got through a lot. Like, if I went through the set list, if the set list is in order, like, let me tell y'all, actually, because I have it on Spotify. We got Mountains, Thunderous, Jam, District 9, Backdoor, Chick Chick Boom, Domino, God's Menu, all of the solos. We got Walking on Water, S-Class, Lonely Street, Cover Me, Top Line, Social Path, La La La, Megaverse, and Maniac. So the ones that we missed were Super Bored, I Like It, Stray Kids, Miro, My Pace, Blind Spot, and Haven. And then Chick Chick Boom Festival version, I don't know if that's like, I don't know. So we missed about 6 or 7 songs, right? If the set list is accurate. We did not miss the entire concert. Luckily, thank you. And like, is it sad that the concert got canceled like early, like shut down early and had to like we had to evacuate? Yes. But it also would have been worse if people started to die. I don't think people understand how dangerous fainting and having heat stroke is. You can die from that. You can die from dehydration. You can die from heat stroke. You could die from fainting and hitting your head the wrong way. And you're in a super crowded area. People could trample you. It was extremely dangerous. I would have rather, like, we not have the concert at all and they just be like, hey, like, so much stuff has happened during sound check. We have to go and like avoid it. Like, yes, I'm glad that we had the concert. Yes, I'm glad that for the most part, I see everyone's been okay, but I don't really think there's a way to know that, like, with every single person that was there, if everyone's okay. But like if it came down to it and like they're just so disorganized that it's not safe for us to be there, I would rather us leave. Because yes, we want to see Stray Kids. You can't see Stray Kids if you're passed out on the ground. You can't, okay? No matter where you are in the arena, if you are passed out on the ground, you are not seeing Stray Kids. And Stray Kids, I love y'all. You're not worth anyone's health. And I think that's where a lot of people, like, they kind of, like, forget that. They go to a concert and they're like, I'm gonna push through. I got pit. I'm not gonna go anywhere because I'm so close. I can interact with my fave. That's all great and stuff. But if you fall and you faint, you can't see your fave, okay? There's, like, you have to put your health first, okay? But after the show ended, we got this little notification like, due to safety, the concert is ending early. Please leave, basically. So we started leaving. Like I said, the stadium has no AC anywhere. There's no breeze anywhere. There's so many of us trying to leave at the same time. When we left out, there was a girl on the ground, passed out. Her friends were fanning her, like, and that was about it. There was no staff member around. There was a medic guy that ran by me that definitely wasn't helping that girl. I honestly think the only people that were helpful during this entire process were the medics and Stray Kids. The medics were doing their job to a certain extent, as much as they could do, but there were not enough medics for the amounts of people that were passing out. People were passing out left and right. Like, I've never been in an event where that many people were passing out so close to each other. And the thing is, there was nothing we could do about it. Like, people would just start falling. You can't, like, to a certain extent, you can't do anything about it. You just have to keep going and keep leaving so that they eventually get more space to get help. That's really all that we could do. Like, we would see someone fall and we would just have to, like, make sure that they're with somebody and then leave. Because otherwise we would get yelled at, like, keep moving, guys. Like, bro, did you not just see what I saw? Like, oh my God, it was so stressful. It was so stressful. Not to mention, all these people are passing out and you're still charging $9 to $12 for a bottle of water that looks like it's 12 ounces of water. That's insane. That's the craziest thing that I would ever say. And like my mom and like other people, I've seen a lot of people rationalize it of like, this is because it's a stadium tour, like they're not built for K-pop concerts. They're built for heat waves. They're built for heat waves, and they're built for a large amount of people being in an area at one time. That happens all the time with sporting events. All the time. And also, it's not like they didn't know there was a heat wave. They've known that for a while. Because we've known that for a while, that a heat wave is coming to us. So if me, a regular degular citizen that only has to care about the heat waves for like my job, because I work outside sometimes, if I know that, an entire company that runs events that have thousands of people definitely should know that. So I don't think that's a good excuse. And honestly, I might be a little pissed about it because I was there personally, and like, I just like it just sucked being somewhere where you were like useless basically. Like, I can't help these people that are falling. Like, I can't buy everyone water, especially when it's freaking $9. And then even if I wanted to, sometimes we would ask people for water and they would be holding it, like selling it, and they would just walk away. Like, they weren't even like we'd be like, hey, the girl behind me needs water. And they would just walk away. Like, I don't know. Like, I think the biggest thing about it was I just felt useless. There was nothing I could do to help anyone. I helped the people that I was with to the best of my ability, and I kind of was like looking around like, hey, are you guys good, like behind me? But like, that's really like the only thing that I could do. And they're like, that's it. Like, I feel like that's pretty much what everyone else was doing. And from my angle, I didn't realize how bad the pit was. Because like, I can see the pit, I can see the field, I can see the people there, but I can't, like, if you faint, you drop. The people around you stay up. So all the people who were passing out, they're not visible to us who were in the like 100 section and up, right? Like, we couldn't see that. So I didn't realize how bad it was until they started getting them out. And then I was like, oh, that's why Chan looks so stressed out on stage. He was actively on stage. They were performing, and he was like being like, "You good? Like, y'all good?" Which is why we're finally getting into Stray Kids. Stray Kids, y'all are amazing. You guys are so genuinely, like, you guys were genuinely concerned about us and genuinely trying to help. And I'm so sorry that it was so disorganized and so dangerous for everyone, because they put on a great performance. All the people who were there, like whether they were Stray Kids staff, dancers, everyone on Stray Kids team did amazing. Okay, like, the band did amazing, the dancers did amazing, Stray Kids did amazing. In those hot uniforms, y'all were in full-on suits. They were in full-on suits for God's Menu. Insane. That's insane. That's insane. That I would be taking that off. I like, the second I got changed into that, I'm taking it off. I don't know how they survived that, but they put on a wonderful concert. They checked in with stays all the time. They were giving us water. They like paused when they needed to, and we got through a lot of the set list. And even then, even further, that when the concert ended early, they still got on live and talked to us, which is just insane. So like, I feel bad that some of them feel like they need to apologize. They've been sending messages and like apologizing. It's not Stray Kids' fault. It's not. It really isn't. It's the stadium's fault. They could have handled it so much better, and they just didn't. But I will say, I'll be running it back. So Stray Kids, when you come back, I'm gonna hesitate if it's a stadium tour, but when you come back, I will be back, okay? I think my favorite songs of the night were Social Path, Top Line, and Megaverse. Oh, actually, I like Lonely Street as well, but it's not like hype like, it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna like cry my eyes out. Like, my favorite solo was definitely Cinema. Definitely Cinema. It was so pretty. So that is basically what happened. If you guys have any questions on any of the platforms, if you're listening to this as a podcast, you can leave comments. If you're listening to this on YouTube, TikTok, I don't know. TikTok, you got like, what, a minute preview of this? Anywhere you're listening, if you have any further questions, I will gladly answer them. I hope that all the stays that went to this DC concert, I hope that you guys are all doing okay. I hope you're doing good. Especially the people who had emergencies. I hope you're doing okay. Above all else, advice to future people going to stadium tours or like environments that are not ideal, like outside, or even if it's inside, like, just know your environment, know what you're getting yourself into, and try to prepare accordingly, right? Like, I knew I needed to take headache medication, and I needed to put on biofreeze, and I needed to just like mitigate my pain as much as possible before going into that concert. I knew that. I also knew if I get dizzy, I don't need water. You always need water, but when I get dizzy, what helps me the most is sugar. Like, I just know that about myself. So please prioritize your health. No celebrity in this world or performance is more important than your health. I really promise you. I really promise you. I know we've paid a lot of money to see these people, and we love them so much, and we love their music so much, and we want to be present. You have to be healthy to be present, okay? So just please prioritize your health. Please stay hydrated. Please eat, okay? Please eat. And like, wear cool clothing. There was a lot of people that were in like crazy hot clothing. And it's different if it's like, if you're trying to be modest, you can still wear cool clothing. That's not what I'm saying, like, oh, show all of your skin and all that stuff. That's not what I mean. I just mean dress accordingly to the weather, because it will help you immensely. Like, even if it's really cold, if it's really cold and you're in shorts, yeah, you're gonna be cold. But that's my little rant. I had to get that out of my system. I still love the concert, and it wasn't a bad experience for me. I just was very concerned about all of the stays that were having health crisis. But I also appreciated how Stray Kids themselves handled the situation, because it was very professional, and it just showed that they do care, which is nice. It's a nice reminder in a bad situation. So all in all, it was a good experience for me. I don't remember it as a negative experience. I just think that a lot of things that went wrong could have easily been avoided with better management. So that's about all. I'm gonna close out here. But until next time, you guys, keep it weird. Bye, guys. Love you.